Now, over to you, sir, to moderate the session.
Thank you, Dr. Gayatri. Please stop the slide sharing so that I can go ahead with it. So, good evening to all of you. I'm just giving a brief overview of what we plan to do and what is being done. Pediatric COVID-19, 360-degree approach. The second wave is in India is on, and very soon they say by the end of the year, we'll have the third wave also. So this is of concern to all of us and the pediatric population as well. Now, how is it different? Well, the mutant strain, what they say is B1.1.617.2. We have the 6.7.12 and 3 in India. And it has been seen that 6.617.2, 50% of the infections in Kerala are because of this particular strain. And it has got a lesser incubation period and it spreads really, really fast. Infectivity is more and the entire family is affected. It is similar to the UK second wave, which they are getting out of it now. There's a rapid progression of symptoms with fever in most of the cases and prolonged fever. And younger people are more affected. Under 45 patients form 60% of all COVID-19 cases, whereas older patients may not be there, probably because they are indoors now, and many of them are vaccinated. And more oxygen requirement is also seen in this second wave. Now, this is the statistics where we're comparing between 2020 and 2021. What is seen is the blue thing is the 20, where 61 to 70 years old were 40%, and 51 to 60 was also high, 41 to 50 was also high, whereas the lesser age groups are low. Whereas in the 2021 COVID, we have more of younger population. 31 to 40, almost double of what it was last year. And so also 21 to 30, much more. And even the 0 to 10 is also very high. So we see that the shift of the age to the lower, and that is a real concern to us. This is the international daily average of infections, where the Asia and the Middle East, the red one over there, they contribute the maximum infection all over the world. And as the death is concerned also, it's Asia and the Middle East that forms the maximum, contributing to the maximum death, followed by Latin America and Caribbean. The status of India, what is said is 1 in every 2 cases reported worldwide is from India. In other words, half of the world's COVID is from India as of today. But now we are only 72% of our peak. Our peak was on May 9th, and then we are coming down, which is a good sign, and we are 72% of our peak of May 9th. Hopefully it will further go down, and yesterday it was 76%. Hopefully by a week or two, we'll come down to that. And this is in comparison with 3% UK and 13% in the US of their peak, what the current status is. 20.6 lakh cases in the first half of April this year, and it reached about 4 lakhs cases per day. But now it has come down to less than 3 lakhs as a daily average in the last 1 week. We have 4,209 deaths as an average in the last 7 days, as really, really high. Now, this is the 7-day average. What I mentioned about the peak, that we reached the peak on May 9th. In Kerala, it was on May 12th, and then it's gradually coming down. But as far as the death is concerned, probably we are staying stable or we are increasing, because the infections which were there in the last few months, few weeks, they are showing the result with the death rates now. So India leads with 2,83,597 cases as of yesterday. That is 1 in every 2 worldwide. Reached a 72% peak, which I mentioned, and the death is 4,209. Now, children are less affected. Why are they affected? Now, we were very much happy that the children were less affected. They have an immature ACE2 receptors, because the virus gets attached to the ACE2 receptor. So that is less chance. There are less endothelial damage and less chance of coagulation, because the endothelium in children are robust and then the damage is less. There's an immunity owing to previous viral infections. This is postulated that children do get various viral infections, and there is an antibody produced to that. Probably these antibodies have a cross-reactivity to the COVID virus, and they provide or partial immunity to the COVID virus. There's a higher circulating lymphocyte numbers. We all know that the lymphocytes are more in children, especially less than 5 years, and probably the higher lymphocytes contribute to some sort of a resistance. There are less comorbidities like cardiac, diabetes, hypertension, all those things. That again, probably reason why they are less affected. Immunity due to vaccination, BCG and MMR vaccine, it has been reported that probably these are offering some sort of an immunity to children. And of course, healthier lungs and, well, absence of smoking, of course, in children. Now, the epidemiology in children contribute to less than 5 to 10% of the global disease burden. Children constitute, that is less than 19 years, contribute to 25% of the total population. When you look at that, out of the 25% of population, only 5 to 10% or even less than that do get the disease. The reason maybe they are less exposed, they are less susceptible, and less likely to be get tested also. Less severe disease, we have seen that only 1.7% of COVID hospitalizations are children. That is, if 100 people are hospitalized, only 1.7% are children. Hospitalization for COVID, and only 1 to 2% require ICU care. The mortality rate is less than 0.15. This is 20 times less than in adults. Adults, the mortality rate is plus minus 3%, whereas the mortality rate in children are very low. Does usually occurs in children with chronic, excuse me, with chronic illnesses like cardiac or hepatic or renal problems. But we are concerned because the total numbers have increased very much, and the nature of the disease has changed over the years. So the purpose of this webinar is to update the current situation and the newer modalities that have come up. Every day there is something new coming up. I would just want to update on that, and to offer a comprehensive view of the management of pediatric COVID with inputs from our friends abroad, and to prepare for the third wave if it occurs.